Hey, good evening, everybody. I think I labeled this Facebook Live the idea education isn't a straight line, reflections on children's education in crisis. And I have been watching some conversations go on and participating in some and seeing some stuff in news and thought, I want to just come in and give you guys a little bit of perspective. And this is kind of Jana and I's experience. And what I am seeing in the conversations is I am seeing a lot of discussion about how education has so rapidly changed in the last 9 months. And I kind of review, I think what all of you probably know is COVID hit. Probably the first thing that many schools did was if there was any COVID case anywhere nearby, March, April, a lot of schools got closed. Kids didn't go to school for months. Then, as we've come back to going to school, kids are coming back in these hybrid models. Some are doing completely online. Oh, in fact, I'll go back to the spring. A lot of stuff was completely online. And then they've come back with hybrid models and then kind of looking at COVID rates, things going up and down. And some things have come out that I think have left many of us concerned. And probably one of the biggest that I'm going to say is a concern is we're finding that kids that are in well-to-do families typically can handle the adversity better than the kids that are in a low-income family where dad and mom are scrambling and don't have a lot of bandwidth remaining and may not have internet at home. And I see a lot of conversations about kind of this fear of what COVID is going to do to education. And I don't want to take away any of those concerns. I think that's appropriate to be concerned. I think it's especially appropriate. COVID has disclosed how much is happening in the United States where our systems are fundamentally unjust, and there's, in many ways, two different education systems and two different economies. We need to address that. But I thought I'd want to talk just a little bit more, a little bit personal, and tell some things that I'm perceiving and some things that our family has experienced. And let me kind of give you a few little stories here of ours. Jana and I were missionaries for 19 years overseas, and we had 5 kids, or do have 5 kids. Our youngest, Timothy's still at home. We're still trying to figure out education for him, but the older 4 are all out. 3 of our kids have graduated from college. 2 of them are working on graduate work. Our son Ethan's working on a PhD in economics at University of Notre Dame. Our son Caleb is working on a master's degrees in theology at Trinity Evangelical School of Divinity in Deerfield, Illinois. And our kids have done really well. But when you look at our life that we had as the kids were little, it wasn't always a very easy cookie cutter educational experience. One, we moved from country to country a couple of times. Several times we ended up thinking we would put the kids in one school and the school wouldn't work, and we'd try homeschooling and that kind of would work a little bit, but we were not dyed in the wheel homeschoolers. We were pragmatists and we couldn't quite get the right combinations, and finally one time we actually even started a school. And saying all of this, and then we would go on furloughs and we'd be out of school systems. And then Jana and I both had some significant health issues where I had 4 surgeries on my spine. We would be in one location and I'd have to just shift everything and I just got to get into place and see a doctor. Or Jana had tumors removed. Our kids' education really was chaotic. And however, the kids were good students and have done well academically. And I wanted to say, if you're out there parenting right now and you're thinking, man, I don't know if my kids can recover from this COVID 1 to 2 years of chaos, I want you to hear me say, I'm pretty confident your kids can. And here's a few things that I'm going to encourage. First off, this COVID winter is going to give our kids a global experience that they will share as a generation. Whatever happens with our kids' life, wherever they go, wherever they land, they are going to stumble onto kids who were the same generation, who may now later be in their 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s, and they all will be able to go back and say, what was COVID winter like for you? So you're going to have a shared generational experience is going to be one of the consequences, and I think that's going to be a really good thing for cohesion for a generation. And I can't think of anything like that since the Second World War, where you've actually been able to say an entire generation of humanity all shared the same experience, and it was through a period of crisis. I think that's going to make kids around the world better people. Second, I want to encourage you guys to think, okay, we're going to have to juggle. We're going to be frustrated at times. We're going to feel broken at times. We're going to be, in fact, we were in our living room this afternoon, trying to figure out some stuff, and we were all feeling really broken by it. But as you kind of catch your breath, recognize we've got an opportunity to maybe not get all of the academic markers hit this year, but we can build character in our kids. We can teach them to be resilient. We can teach them to be creative. We can teach them to have fun and do some little things that they could do now because they're not in school. And my own perception is this is a way to build the character of our kids. Third thing I want to say is just keep education going in some way, shape, or form in your house. I know as our family had these crisis years where we're having to uproot ourselves, the kids aren't in school, or we're having to say, this school didn't work, we're going to try this one, no, we're going to try homeschool, no, we're going to try starting our own school. Just make sure your kids are learning something. Because I think the biggest skill in life that we learn is not a certain set of information, but it's that skill of learning information. So if you're fully out of school, sitting around the kitchen table and talking about things that somebody has read, things that somebody has experienced, raising modern contemporary issues, just keep talking and keep putting things in front of your kids and keep giving them smart stuff and keep their educational hunger going. And I think that will really end up creating skill sets that will last a long period of time. Now, saying this, I'm kind of tired and I wanted to be brief, but I wanted people to hear, don't freak out about this COVID winter, what it might be doing to your kids' education. Yeah, there's going to be some unequal places in the world, and when you see them after this, let's say, okay, as a result, let's try to make our educational system more just, and even let's today go and give some extra help if we know a poor family that's going to be struggling, let's help them out. But in the big picture, I don't think we need to freak out about this. I think our kids are going to come out better. I think they're going to have a shared global experience, and no matter where they go after this year, they're going to meet other people their same age who have gone through the same thing. I think it's going to shape their character, and we're going to see a generation of young people who will be resilient and creative, and that will go a long way. And last, I'm just going to encourage parents, make the most of this time. This can be actually a pretty delightful year for our kids. Make the most of it, enjoy, and just keep the learning going on in whatever way you can. God's blessings on all of you. Thank you for tuning in to me. Bye-bye.